Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Hagerstown. We are so glad you're here with us this morning because today we are letting love lead the way. When my world is not okay, when there's roadblocks in my way, when I feel so all alone, these words will bring me home. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Oh, oh, oh. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. When we can't see eye to eye, no matter how we try, we can find our harmony if you sing along with me. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Oh, oh, oh. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. In everything, love will be the gift I bring, to give and to receive, straight from the heart. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Oh, oh, oh. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Each morning when I wake, there's a choice that I can make. In everything I do and say, I'll let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Oh, oh, oh. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way. Let love lead the way.
I think I had another song after that, and that's okay too, right? Anyway, welcome to Unity of Hagerstown. We're so glad that you're with us. We welcome our virtual friends as well, whether this is your first time or you are a returning member or you haven't been with us for a while. We are glad that you are here. We have a little quote here from President Biden for Black History Month. Today, I'm reminded of something Amelia Boynton said when reflecting on her march across the Edmund Pettus Bridge on what would be known as Bloody Sunday. You can never know where you're going unless you know where you've been. America is a great nation because we choose to learn the good, the bad, and the full truth of the history of our country. Histories and truths that we must preserve and protect for the next generation. This National Black History Month, as we remember where we have been, may we also recognize that our only way forward is by marching together. So it is, yes. And with that said, let's join together in an opening prayer. And we're going to do it call and response as we've been doing for the past few weeks. So I'll say a line, and then if you choose to, you can repeat it. Okay, just centering ourselves, letting go of all anxiety, maybe the rush to get here or a to-do list. I know I am centered in God's love.
I know I am centered in God's love.
I am enfolded by this love.
I am enfolded by this love.
This love flows through me.
This love flows through me.
I am this love.
I am the midst of.
Amen and amen. Yeah. And now if you'll join me in our mission statement. Together, Unity of Hagerstown, a welcoming community, embraces spiritual awakening through a permanent prayer and meditation, creating a positive path of abundant living for all. And now we have the reading of the Daily Word with Jeff White. And for those of you who may not be familiar with the Daily Word, it is an inspirational material you can get in your inbox, in your email inbox, or as a hard copy through unity.org.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right, we got it. Today's word is strength. If I find myself struggling to bear the weight of a heavy load, if I am wondering how much farther I can travel or how much longer I can carry on, I rely on my spiritual strength to keep me going. When I align my thoughts with this divine gift and not on the weight I carry or the distance I travel, I am tapping into the power of God expressing as me. Through divine strength, I am renewed and refreshed. I have everything I need to stay the course. Knowing the presence of God comes to me through many channels, I may ask for help and accept it graciously when it comes. I give myself breaks and make time for prayer and my other spiritual practices. Through it all, I remain strong and grateful for God within me. The scripture for today comes from Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his power. Now, if you could recite with me the affirmation that's on the screen above. Centered in divine strength, I am confident and peaceful. Now let that sink in and resonate for a minute. And once again, all together.
Centered in divine strength, I am confident and peaceful.
Thank you.
And now we'll have another song.
When I need shelter from the raging storm, I can find it in the love of God. On the cold nights, a place to keep me warm. Well, I can find it in the love of God. If I'm down and broken and I need a friend, I can find it in the love of God. Giving you one good reason to smile again. I can find it in the love of God. Well, I can find it in the love of God. I can find it in the love of God. I can find it in the love of God. I can find it in the love of God. In a sea of confusion, seems I've lost my way. Well, I can find it in the love of God. And I ain't got the strength for just one more day. Well, I can find it in the love of God. If my pockets are empty and my hope is gone, well, I can find it in the love of God. Give it one good reason to keep pushing on. I can find it in the love of God. Well, I can find it in the love of God. Well, I can find it in the love of God. Well, I can find it in the love of God. I can find it in the love of God. Well, I can find it in the love of God. Well, I can find it in the love of God. Well, I can find it in the love of God. I can find it in the love of God.
Woo! Yes, thank you. That's Patty. Wonderful, wonderful. And now we have, we've come to one of my favorite times of the service, Greet your neighbor. And again, just a gentle reminder, this is just a chance to say hello. How you doing, maybe? Not to share our life story. I know, that's after church, okay? The meeting after the meeting. And also, if you are not a hugger, then please put your hand out if you would prefer a handshake, or just, maybe your hands together if you don't want to have any contact at all. Anyway, it's perfectly all right. We want to greet you in the way that you are comfortable. And, okay, let's greet our neighbors. And if you want to say hello to our Facebook friends, just come around in front of the camera. That'd be great. So I'm going to say hello to our Facebook friends and just say how lovely it is that you're part of this community. We so appreciate you. We see the light that you are. And do me a favor, put a comment down. Go ahead and like each other's comments. Let's go ahead and develop community online. Yes.
Agreed. Hi, all.
Hello, friends.
Don't you feel left out? Okay.
So if you can hear my voice, please be seated. If you can hear my voice, please be seated. My friends, one of these Sundays I'm just going to let you talk as long as you like, but that's not today. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a true story now. Lewis Moore couldn't stop staring at the dancer in the chorus line at the China Doll nightclub in New York City. It was 1946, the spring of 1946. World War II had recently ended, and Moore, who was 23 years old, was recently discharged from the U.S. Army Air Corps after serving in Europe. He was enjoying a night out with his family at this new club in Manhattan. This dancer had the sweetest eyes he had ever seen. He returned night after night, hoping to get her attention, but it didn't work. Weeks later, he spotted her in a coffee shop, having a cup of coffee. He approached her and asked if he could join her. And she said, sure. And they talked, and then they went to Central Park, and they walked and talked. He was a Chinese-American soldier from New York whose ship was cheered when it had returned home from overseas. Nellie was a Japanese-American, daughter of Japanese immigrants from California, trying to rebuild her life after the U.S. government had incarcerated her and her family at a relocation center in Arizona. After that meeting and a cup of coffee and all the talking, they got married 10 days later. It was a marriage that lasted 74 years. His parents, though, didn't take kindly to it. They were dismayed at Nellie's Japanese ancestry and didn't speak to them, to either one of them, Lewis or Nellie, for 7 years. During the war, you may know, the U.S. government imprisoned 120,000 people of Japanese descent, 2/3 of whom were American citizens, and forced them into these prison camps. Nellie didn't talk much about the camp that she had been in. When her family was released, Nellie's parents told her to go to New York to rebuild her life because there was so much resentment of Japanese Americans on the West Coast. And that's what she did. Lewis was born in San Francisco, a third-generation Chinese-American whose grandfather was given the last name Moore because the immigration officer could not pronounce his last name. Lewis joined the U.S. Army Air Corps, which was preceded the Air Force, and he was one of more than 13,000 Chinese-Americans who served during the war. He said, my friends and I were going to join the service and save the world. He shipped out to Europe on the Queen Mary, where troops had, in his own words, Spam for just about every meal. He was stationed in France near the border with Germany, But it wasn't easy being a Chinese American in the service at that time. Every outfit that he was put in, he was afraid that someone would not recognize him as being American and get shot. He was afraid of being shot. Of course, Moore doesn't talk much about the war. He was discharged in April 1946, as I said, but his life didn't begin until he met Nellie in that coffee shop on June 1st. And that's in his words. His parents, as I said, viewed Japan as an enemy of the U.S., and they were furious that he married a Japanese-American woman. After they kicked him out of their home, he moved with Nellie to Southern California, where her family lived, and he was afraid that they would not accept them either. So he was waiting to meet his mother-in-law, and suddenly in walked a 4-foot, 10-inch woman weighing about 90 pounds, walking with a furious look on her face, coming up to him, staring at him, until she broke into a smile and gave him a hug. Yeah, for years, Louis and Nellie were poor but happy. They worked hard in restaurants and manufacturing plants. And by the late 50s, they had saved enough money to purchase a home. They found a place that Nellie loved in the San Fernando Valley, a new housing development. However, they were concerned because they were afraid they wouldn't get it if they made an offer, because people often would not sell property to Asians. So a customer Nellie had befriended at one of the restaurants that she had worked, a white man, purchased the property and then sold it to them. After they moved in, their neighbors signed a petition to try to force them to leave, but they stayed. They like to say that they had no wrinkles on their faces because they never argued. I don't know if I believe that. Maybe. He told her that he loved her every day, and when he signed their names, he always put Nellie's name down first. Nellie moved into a nursing home about 6 years ago as dementia took hold. And he visited her every day until the pandemic closed the facility to visitors. And then he came about once a month to see her through the window. He still called her every day to say he missed her. He wanted more than anything for her to come home. And during this time, he began recounting this love story with a neighbor. They were both masked up, and the neighbor would write things down. And they decided to turn it into a book, which they did. He published at 98 years old. He wanted to finish that book, he said, because he wanted them to be able to sit on the couch, Nellie and Louis, to sit on the couch together and read it to each other. Of course, that did not happen. Nellie died a little bit later, and she was 98 when she died too. He rushed to the nursing home to see her one last time, and when he leaned over her body, he saw tears in her eyes and screamed that she's still alive, she's still alive. But it was his tears that had fallen onto her face. It's a beautiful love story, and a true one too. And I think that today's modern culture, or postmodern culture, has so much emphasis on this deep soul connection with one individual. But I think that we may be looking for love in all the wrong places. What if we actually realize that we have this love within ourselves? In 1 Corinthians 13, the love chapter, Paul ends it with, if I have not love, I am nothing. We all have this love, though. So my message is, we are all something. We're all something wonderful. Love is more than a feeling, it's more than emotion. It is the completeness of life. It's really beyond defining. We often think of love as something that we express, I love you. But it's really a way of being. We may, of course, look for that love in a special someone, and this Valentine's Day is all about that. But Eric Butterworth tells us our need is to be loved, not loved. To be loved. And to express out of the overflow of love that is within each of us towards all creation. This is a hunger that is within us that we may not recognize. It's not to find love, but to be that love. You know, we know from the Christian scriptures and also in many other world faith traditions that God is love. And we are one with the one. So we are that love as well. God is life, we are life expressing. God is peace, we are that peace. God is love, and we are that love. So the great need that we have is not to be loved or to find love on the outside, but to be that love, connecting with the source of it from within. Butterworth goes on to say, I am created in and of love. It is my nature, the root of my being. I am the very activity of love in expression. I have within me all the love in the universe. Just imagine that, my friends. You have all the love in the universe within you. You have enough love to love every person you ever meet. You have enough love to love every part of creation, every circumstance, and also yourself. You have that love. If you're feeling, what's the word? Challenged in loving someone. If you're feeling challenged or if it's a strain to love someone, then it's because we're not tapping into the love that's within. We are trying to do it through our own human willpower. I'm going to love them even though they don't deserve it. I'm going to love them. You know, that's not how we can go about doing this. Loving them means we center in love within ourselves, and then there is no strain in loving another. Like Yoda says, there is no try, right? So Jesus' teachings tell us that we are to love our neighbor as ourselves. To try to love someone is really a judgment on them. We are passing judgment when we try to love someone. I'll try to love them, even though they're a rascal. I will try. Dr. Martin Luther King tells us, I'm happy that he, Jesus, didn't say, like your enemies, because there are some people that I find it pretty difficult to like. Liking is an affectionate emotion, and I can't like anybody who threatens to kill me. But Jesus reminds us that love is greater than liking. Love is understanding, creative, redemptive goodwill toward all. There is enough love within you to love every person and more. So when we center ourselves in that flow of love, or that source of love that's within, then we can see everybody else in that divine flow of love as well. There's an intermingling of consciousness, if you will. If I'm feeling love for another person, there's also an aspect within me that's feeling love for myself. So love is that central core of not only the Christian teachings, but many faith traditions worldwide. And loving our neighbor does tend to give us problems, because how can we love someone we may not actually like? I find it interesting, though, to see in the Hebrew, it means love to your neighbor. It's a different connotation, isn't it? Be loving towards them in word, in action. It's not something you bestow upon another, but it's something you do, something you be. Be loving to the neighbor out of the outflow of love within yourself. I'm loving towards them. A Course in Miracles tells us we are to love our neighbor because they are ourself. And this may be a bigger idea, this idea of oneness, than what we generally translate into our daily lives. However, it is an ideal that we can work towards. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, tells us love in divine mind is the idea of universal unity. We are one. We are one in love. Father Gregory, he is no longer a priest. Gregory Boyle, who founded Homeboy Industries, which is a wonderful organization that takes gang members and rehabilitates them. And he has written a few books, and I wanted to share one short essay with you today. This is Forgive Everyone Everything. It's become my favorite book lately. I guess I met Joker in a probation camp. Hard to retrieve the memory of our first encounter. He's tried a few times to begin our program, but has difficulty being in the vicinity of other human beings. He also blazes it constantly to calm himself down, so it's hard for him to test clean for us. He's more than a daily communicant with me. He texts me at least 4 times a day. He often shoots me pics of meals he has prepared for himself and shots of his arm donating blood. I always call him my son and try to inch him one step closer to seeing himself as God does. One just keeps hoping against hope that he will find love as his true identity and deepest dignity. There are always glimpses of the movement from isolation to relationships, and I watch as Joker's fears get transformed. I'm fond of you, he texts me once. And I write back, well, I'm fond of you too. And I'm grateful to God that you're in my life. His response is immediate. The feeling is neutral. There's the greeting namaste, which means I greet the Holy One in you from the holy place within me. My grandmother had 2 peculiar pronunciations in her repertoire. She pronounced spaghetti as spaghetti, and the word beautiful came out as beautiful, as in the spaghetti was beautiful. We see the Holy One. We train for innocence. We look for the sheer, utter goodness in the other and deem it beautiful, full of beauty. In this, we find the unbearable beauty of our own life. It's there, and we can actually choose it. So, one way to develop this capacity to love, to be loved, Charles Fillmore tells us, is the more we talk about it, the stronger it grows in our consciousness. If we continue to think loving thoughts, speak loving words, and we find ourselves centered in that flow of love more often. It's not a matter of fake it till you make it. It's a matter of being it in the present until it becomes second nature, or actually our true nature. Fillmore goes on to say, by using this creative power of your own thought, you will change that which you seemed evil into good, and divine love will pour its healing balm over all. It can change the face of a former gang member into a son. We all have the power to not only change the way we see the world, but in doing so, to change the world. And this is the power of love. I'm going to move into a time of meditation now. But first, let's join together in our affirmation. Mighty is the healing power of love. Yes. So as we get comfortable, adjusting our position as needed, closing our eyes or gazing softly in front of us. We begin with our breath, paying attention to the inhale and the exhale. Calming the body, calming the thoughts. With every breath, I breathe in God's love. And this love and power are available to me whenever I remember who I am. I am one with the One, a thought in the mind of God, forever surrounded and sustained by the substance of divine mind. On this day, I remember that love is all around me. On this day, I acknowledge love's presence within me, within others, and breathe in with every breath all the power, all the healing it bestows. With every breath, I breathe in God's love. With every breath, I breathe in love in the silence. I am created in and of love. It is my nature, the root of my being. I am the very activity of love and expression. I have within me all the love in the universe. And as we draw this time of meditation and communion to a close, I invite you to sit restfully with the song that Brett and Patty will be sharing, or to join in.
I send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. send my joy over the mountain. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my power over the mountain. I send my power over the sea. I send my power into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my peace over the heavens. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountain. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Yes, it returns to me.
Thank you, Brent and Patty. And if you will, let's stay in this time of connection and say our offertory affirmation together. I give thanks that the ever-renewing, the ever-unfolding expressions of infinite life, wisdom, and prosperity is within me. And we give thanks for the gifts that we're about to receive and the givers. We bless them all, knowing that as we give, we truly do receive. We dedicate all the gifts to the work of this ministry, letting everybody know what a beautiful expression of love they are. Amen.
I'm grateful for the love that you rain down all day. Well, I'm grateful for the love, Sing that again. Well, I'm grateful for the love that you rain down all day. Well, I'm grateful for the love, and the blessings. Well, I'm grateful for the blessings that you rain down all day. Well, I'm grateful for the blessings, and the bounty. Well, I'm grateful for the bounty that you rain down all day. I'm grateful for the bounty, and the beauty. I'm grateful for the beauty that you rain down all day. Well, I'm grateful for the beauty, All right, we know the drill. Here it comes. Well, I'm grateful, so grateful for the love, for
right, Brett and Patty. Now we do have a few announcements to make. On the 14th, Valentine's Day, we are offering a vow renewal, or even a wedding if you wanted that. Richard, let me back up. Reverend Richard Pacheco is offering that here in this space for a love offering. You need to contact him. There are flyers in the foyer for everything that's listed here. But contact him directly to schedule your appointment. And then on Thursday, the Men of Unity will be meeting here at 6 p.m. And next Wednesday, we start a discussion and dinner on a complaint-free world. I know, it sounds like a challenge, but I thought we could give up complaining for Lent, right? I mean, that was my thinking. we can do it. I know we can. So there's a book that goes along with it. It's by Will Bowen. You can find it on Amazon. It's also an ebook. So I think it's in the library too. So he is a Unity minister. It's very easy to read. And I hope you can make it to that, but please sign up for that so we know how many people to prepare dinner for. And also on the 21st, we bring back our midweek service, which will follow the dinner discussion. And on the 23rd, we have dinner and games again. I'm so excited. I had so much fun with our dinner and games last month that we're doing it again. We're having pasta primavera, salad, dessert, probably garlic bread, and let us know your food preferences on the sign-up sheet that's going on around. And also, please sign up if you intend to come because we need numbers. Okay. And then choir practice. What can we tell you? What can you say about that?
Well, if you're interested in choir practice, then next week, just hang out for a few minutes after service, and I will give you the songs. And the plan is to play Palm Sunday and Easter Sunday.
Yes.
With practices on Sunday mornings.
Okay, sounds good, sounds good. So if they can't make it next Sunday, they can just contact you,
yes,
right? Okay, very good. And then there are some booklets in the foyer as well, some wonderful booklets from Black Church to New Thought in honor of Black History Month, Spiritual Keys to Aging Well. I didn't buy that thing, I didn't mind, okay? And then our Lenten book, 40 Days Let Go, Let God. We are offering those on a donation basis. Suggested donation is just $1 a book. We have to pay for them, and we have to pay for shipping it, and that will help cover that. So thank you so much. If you're interested in any of this, please take one or all three. And if you can't make the donation, just take it anyway. We want you to have the information. Okay. Got another song?
Sure.
Okay.
Love is everything. Love is everything. I am, you are, God is love, and love is everything. Love is everything. Love is everything. I am, you are, God is love, and love is everything. Love is everything. Yes, love is everything. Love is everything. everything. Love is everything. I am, you are, God is love, and love is everything. Love is everything. Yes, love is everything.
What a beautiful lullaby. And now we say goodbye to our virtual friends. We're so glad that you joined us. We see you as that love expressing in beautiful ways, or beautiful ways. Thank you for being here.